2:34 a.m. ICU, room 8. David Martinez hasn't left this chair in 18 hours. His 12-year-old son Gabriel lies unconscious, connected to machines that measure heartbeats and brainwaves and the narrow margin between life and death. The accident happened so fast. One moment, Gabriel was chasing a soccer ball into the street. The next, he was airlifted to the trauma center with a traumatic brain injury that has the medical team speaking in careful, measured tones about the next 24 hours being critical. David holds his son's hand and feels the terrible weight of helplessness. Every prayer he's ever learned feels inadequate. Every promise he's ever made to God feels hollow. All he can do is stay and watch and refuse to leave. This is what love looks like when it can't fix anything, when presence is the only gift you have to offer. When showing up is more important than speaking up. You know this vigil, don't you? Maybe not in a hospital, but in some other place where love keeps watch while hope hangs by a thread. Where your presence is the only prayer that matters. Where staying becomes a form of worship. Where love learns to measure time, not in minutes, but in heartbeats. The nurses move through their rounds with practiced efficiency, checking monitors, adjusting IV drips, offering David coffee he doesn't want, and encouragement he can't quite believe. "You should go home and rest," says Janet, the night nurse who's worked the ICU for 23 years. "Nothing's going to change in the next few hours." But David knows she's wrong. Everything could change in the next few hours. Gabriel could wake up, or he could slip further away. "I can't leave him alone," David whispers, his voice hoarse from talking to his unconscious son for hours. "What if he wakes up and I'm not here? What if he's scared?" Janet nods. She's seen this vigil 1,000 times. Love refusing to abandon its post. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus asked his closest friends to do one thing: stay awake with him. Not to solve his crisis, not to prevent his suffering, not to offer theological explanations for his agony. Just to stay, to keep watch, to be present while he faced the darkest hour of his life. They fell asleep instead, and when Jesus woke them, his question cuts to the heart of what love requires. "Could you not keep watch with me for 1 hour?" Not, "Could you not heal me? Could you not save me? Could you not change my circumstances?" But could you not simply be present with me in my suffering? At 4:17 a.m., Gabriel's eyelids flutter. David leans forward, holding his breath. For 30 seconds, nothing. Then Gabriel's eyes open, unfocused but alive. "Dad?" The word is barely a whisper, but it's the most beautiful sound David has ever heard. "I'm here, buddy. I'm right here." Gabriel tries to speak again, but David gently stops him. "Don't worry about talking. Just know that I haven't left you. I've been here the whole time." Gabriel's hand squeezes his father's. Barely perceptible pressure, but unmistakable communication. Later, after Gabriel is stable and the immediate crisis has passed, David reflects on those 18 hours of vigil. I kept thinking I should be doing something, he tells his wife Elena, praying harder, researching treatments, calling specialists. But all I could do was sit there and hold his hand. Maybe that was everything, Elena replies. Maybe your presence was the most important medicine he received. The ministry of presence is perhaps the most undervalued spiritual discipline in our fix it, solve it, make it better culture. We want to be useful. We want our love to be productive, measurable, effective. We want to be the heroes who save the day, not the supporting characters who simply show up. But sometimes love's highest calling is just to keep watch, to refuse to abandon, to stay present in the vigil. 3 weeks later, Gabriel is released from the hospital with a clean bill of health. The injury that could have stolen his future has instead become the catalyst for the deepest conversation he and his father have ever had. When I woke up that night, Gabriel tells David, I wasn't scared because I knew you were there. Even when I couldn't see you or hear you, I could feel you. Your being there made me safe. David learned something profound about the nature of love, that presence is not passive. It's the most active form of care possible when action is impossible. That staying when you can't solve is its own form of strength, that love doesn't always need to do something to be everything. That sometimes the greatest gift you can offer is the assurance that someone won't face their darkness alone. 6 months later, David starts volunteering in the same ICU where Gabriel recovered. Not as a counselor or chaplain, but as someone who simply sits with families during their vigils. I don't offer advice, David explains to the family liaison coordinator. I don't try to explain why these things happen or promise that everything will be okay. I just sit with people who are doing the hardest thing love can do, staying present when presence is all you have. I've learned that vigil is its own form of prayer. Tonight, maybe you're keeping your own vigil. Maybe you're sitting beside someone whose future hangs in the balance. Maybe you're the one who's unconscious, unaware that love is keeping watch. Maybe you're frustrated because you can't fix what's broken, can't solve what's scary, can't control what feels chaotic. Maybe you think that unless you're actively doing something, your love doesn't matter. But presence is not nothing. Staying is not passive. Keeping watch is not weak. Because love doesn't always need to speak to be heard. Love doesn't always need to act to be powerful. Sometimes love's most profound expression is simply refusing to leave. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus learned what we all eventually discover, that the deepest suffering can only be endured, not avoided. But he also learned that even in our darkest hour, we're not alone, that someone is keeping vigil, that love is present even when presence is all it has to offer. that sometimes staying awake with someone in their suffering is the most sacred act of all. The monitors beep, the heart beats, the vigil continues, and love keeps watch through the longest night, waiting for dawn.